Every day in Australia, there are over 700 young people locked up in youth detention. Just under half of them are Indigenous, making them dramatically overrepresented.
There needs to be more intervention from the get-go as kids.
It's a national tragedy that there are that many Indigenous children in detention in Australia.
Inside the walls of these institutions, some workers employed to protect young people have instead allegedly engaged in a sinister culture of abuse.
I speak very prominently as an Aboriginal man. No kid ever deserves to be treated the way that they treat people.
Aaron Blades was 15 and living in Toowoomba, west of Brisbane, when he got heavily into drugs and alcohol and started breaking the law.
Started to break and enter, stealing cars, robbing people. Just stupid and reckless, really.
In 2001, Aaron Blades was 16 when he was sent to Brisbane Youth Detention Centre. He alleges workers began strip searching him looking for banned items like weapons and drugs to maintain safety. But he says it became an avenue for sexual abuse.
The invasiveness of the searches, it really makes you question who you are individually, even sexually, stuff like that. It's life-altering. They'd remove your clothing, and then after that it would be, the unwanted cavity searches.
730 has obtained notes made by Aaron's caseworker, which show he did raise concerns in detention. Aaron requests to move sections without explaining why. 4 days later, Aaron is annoyed when he hasn't been moved. At the time, he didn't make a complaint because he feared retribution.
You're not allowed to tell whether it's on a screw or whether it's on another criminal. It's just, what they keep, you have to keep quiet.
Aaron Blades is one of a growing number of people to allege they were abused in youth detention. The Royal Commission into Child Sexual Abuse heard evidence that more than 500 children have been sexually abused.
We've got cases that our clients have been subjected to digital penetration under the guise of a strip search, where they had their genitals fondled and where they've been forced to perform oral sex or receive oral sex, and in some cases it's led to anal penetration of the child.
Shine lawyers represent almost 400 people, including Aaron Blades, who are suing governments across the country, alleging they failed to protect them from sexual abuse in youth detention.
They are civil claims for damages based on the negligence and vicarious liability of these institutions which failed to protect children in their care.
Aaron is a proud Mundundanji man who is working hard to turn his life around, including through his art business. But the damaging legacy of his time in detention continues to take a toll.
I, was married, had, 4 kids, that I was divorced in 2017. Obviously I've had a lot of mental health issues that went untreated.
Just go to the river or walk around the streets, just go for a walk, just to hear peace, Helps me not act upon the anger I'm feeling inside,
This 25-year-old man from regional New South Wales wants to remain anonymous because he's just been released from prison. He claims he was 13 when the strip searching began, which led to sexual abuse.
It's fully naked, and then he said, "What do you got there? You got contraband?" Then he's grabbed me, and because I sort of resisted, he grabbed me a little bit tighter and spun me around viciously, and it began from there.
His case involves more recent allegations of concerning conduct linked to strip searches. In 2009, he was sent here to the Reby Youth Justice Centre in Western Sydney, where he alleges the abuse by workers included forced oral and anal sex.
It's like 12 to 15 times it occurred. He assaulted me brutally. Said if I told, he'd kill me. I wouldn't ever see my mum and dad, and that's all I wanted to see, bro. Was my mum and my dad and my little brothers and my sisters, bro. Just wanted to go to home. And I was scared to tell.
We also need to prepare.
The abuse has never been reported, but he's now taking legal action against the New South Wales Government. The Department of Communities and Justice told 7:30 it was unable to comment on his case because it's subject to litigation.
I've snorted, I've drank alcohol and still haven't forgot. Tried to kill myself twice and still can't forget. I just wish I could.
It's hard to know how many searches are still being performed because the numbers aren't always made public. 7:30 has obtained the latest Queensland figures under right to information laws. More than 1,700 searches took place at 3 centres, with 85% at Brisbane. 42 items were found, including weapons and drugs.
It's important that we know that searches are only occurring when there's a genuine concern that contraband may be found upon the child. Routine searches should not be occurring.
In Queensland, the department's search guidelines require the young person to be partially or fully clothed and are not touched by staff.
So there now is new protocols in place in relation to ensuring that the level of strip searches is done in a way that protects the children, but also is done in a truly accountable way to make sure that the children's rights are protected, but also in a way that makes sure that staff can make sure the centres remain safe in terms of minimising of contraband.
Queensland's Human Rights Commissioner Scott McDougall is concerned the Palaszczuk government has failed to put in place independent oversight, despite it being recommended by a major review and in place in other states.
It is long overdue that in Queensland we establish an independent inspectorate. It's really important to have an independent office responsible for conducting investigations about complaints and for being an independent set of eyes in the dark places in which we, as a society, hold some of our most vulnerable people.
In a statement, Queensland's Attorney-General Shannon Fentiman said legislation to establish an independent inspectorate would be introduced by the end of the year. Both men hope by going public it will encourage others to come forward and result in body searches being reduced or eliminated.
And I don't want it to happen to any other one's children, and I don't want it to happen to them because it's not nice.
People really need to stand up and take notice about, what's going on, because it pretty much ruined my life and I've had to rebuild my life from scratch. So, yeah. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.